If you have this going on, it's going to feel like your training is not working because you're not feeling things in the way that you're supposed to. And this is stuff that nobody talks about. And here's how we're going to fix it. Let me guess, you're showing up at the gym 4 to 5 days a week. You're doing all the right things. You're working all the right muscle groups. But for whatever reason, you're still not seeing muscle growth, and one side of your body might be doing more than the other, despite the reps that you're putting in. If this is happening to you and you clicked on this video, you're in the right place, but the solution is not what you think. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what's going on with practical steps on how to fix it. This is going to include upper and lower body. So let's get into it. If you find yourself in this position, not growing, not feeling it in the right places, maybe only feeling one side doing the work, the answer is not actually doing more sets, reps, or workouts. What you need to do is fix what your body is actually doing before you build on top of it. Once we run through these movements, you're going to know exactly why. I'm going to run you through the exact assessment I use with every client, and you can do it with me right now. So first things first, I want you to look in front of a mirror if you have one. You're going to stand, just look at yourself. How are you looking? Are you slouched? What's going on? You're going to then turn to the side and look at yourself this way. If you find that your lower shoulder blade is sticking out, we're going to address that shoulder. The next thing that I'm going to have you do is something called an overhead squat. You can easily prop up a camera and film yourself doing this from the front, the side, and the back. Or you can simply look at yourself in the mirror while you're doing it. But the overhead squat tells me everything that I need to know. So you're going to stand with your feet how you normally would when you squat and your hands above your head. You're going to squat down. And the first thing that I want to know when you're squatting, are you having a hard time keeping your hands above your head? Do you find that your shoulders are kind of moving forward and maybe you're slouching a little bit up top? Next, how is your foot placement and how are your legs doing when you're squatting? Do your knees tend to cave in? Do you shift to the side a little bit? Do you lean forward a little bit? If you had a hard time keeping your arms above your head and you ended up slouching a bit, this tells me that you have poor posture. If you found that your knees were caving in during your squat, this tells me you have weak glutes and the muscles are off. If you find that you shifted to one side while you were squatting, this tells me that either one side doing more work than the other because it's stronger than the other, or you have some kind of imbalance. If you found that when you squat, your knees are going over your toes and you're leaning forward, this tells me you have very tight hips. All of these things have a common denominator, and we're going to get to that soon. But for now, let's go into the next assessment move. The next move we're going to get into is called a single leg glute bridge. If you do have a small box, that would be helpful. If you don't worry about it. Use, your couch or any surface that you can find. You're going to simply lay flat on the floor with one of your heels on the surface. The other foot is going to come up parallel to this leg, right? Your hands are going to be down supporting you. And what I want you to do is lift your body up flat like a board. So you're going to come up as high as you possibly can, hold for a second, and come down. You're going to do 10 on each side. 3, 4, and 5. Switch sides. Four and 5. And I want you to ask yourself, where did you feel it? When you were placing one foot on the board and one foot up, which glute did you feel? When you compare one side to the other, did you find one glute working more than the other glute? Maybe you didn't feel your glutes at all, and you only felt your hamstrings and your back pulling. If you found that one side was doing more work than the other, it just means that you have an imbalance. If you find that you only felt your hamstrings or your back, that means your glutes are turned off completely. And we'll address that shortly. Next assessment are called wall slides. So what I want you to do is find a wall. You're going to stand against it, feet about hip width apart, And you're gonna bring your hands into a W shape. I want you to try and bring your hands from a W to an I. And how you're gonna do this, you're just going to lift them up by the head, and then you're gonna bring them back down to W. Now, when you're doing this, do you have a hard time bringing your arms to your ears? That means that this muscle is weak, your chest is tight, and your back is weak. If you have a hard time even trying to keep your elbows and hands against the wall, maybe perhaps you're starting like this. This means that your chest is tight and your back muscles are not turning on. And that's okay. I'm going to address exactly how you're going to fix that. The next move is a dumbbell row. If you don't have a dumbbell, just do the motion alone. So first things first, you're going to take a dumbbell, 4 knots. You're going to stand in a lunge position and hold on to the surface. Now, I want you to row how you would naturally row. If you find that when you row, your elbow is flaring out to the side, and if you find that you're feeling in the upper trap region instead of the lower back, that is a clear indication that you have rounded shoulders and a tight chest. So run through all of these. Look at yourself in the mirror, overhead squat, single leg glute bridge, wall slide, and dumbbell row. And if you find that any of these things are off, we're gonna go into how to fix them right now. This is all due to having bad posture and inactivity, which causes your shoulders to round, which causes your hips to be tight, which causes your back to be weak, and which causes your glutes to be weak. Once I started realizing that 90% of the women that came to me had these issues, it changed the way that I train people forever. If you have this going on, it's going to feel like your training is not working because you're not feeling things in the way that you're supposed to. Hence, when you're doing hip thrusts, you feel it in your quads or your lower back. Hence, when you're doing lat pull downs, you feel them in your upper traps. Hence, when you're doing rows, you feel them in your shoulders instead of your rhomboids. And this is stuff that nobody talks about. Here's how we're gonna fix it. We have 2 to 3 rounds of movements. So number 1 is a chest stretch. You're gonna want to find a doorway. You need something that has a little bit of space in front of you, so you can rest your forearm right here. You're going to lean forward and turn out to the side. You're gonna look towards the wall. You will feel it all in the chest, moving both sides. You're going to be doing this for about 40 seconds on each side, so grab a timer. The next move is a lying dumbbell external rotation. So you're going to need a dumbbell and a small towel. I only have the mini bands, but you're going to need something. You're going to lay all the way down on your side. You're going to place that towel between your elbow and your hip, and then you're going to grab a small dumbbell. So all these little intrinsic muscles that don't get fired up by using heavy weights are going to get fired up right now. And so you're going to go ahead and grab a very big dumbbell. 3 pounds is plenty. You're going to lay on your side. Ensure this is comfortable. And you're going to lift up on your side and come right back down. You are going to do 12 reps on each side. Step 3 are band pull-aparts. You're going to take a band like so, or something very similar. You want to grab so that you have enough slack, and you're going to start right in front of you. And you're simply just going to pull it apart, and that's opening up your chest and activating your back muscles. You're going to do 12 of these as well. Taking a slight pause out of that, and coming down slowly. Step 4 are dumbbell Y raises. I highly recommend you get an incline bench and use those same small 3-pound dumbbells. So what you're going to do is face down on the incline bench on your tummy. You're going to ensure that your shoulders are back and your chest goes out. So you want to pretend there's a safety pin holding your shoulders while you stay at it. And when you're here, you're going to simply lift your arms. 1, 2, 3. Pause. 1, 2, 3. And come down. 1, 2, 3. And the key here is you're not lifting with your arms. You are lifting with your lower trap muscle. and that is right here. So lifting with that muscle in your head, shoulders back, chest out. You're gonna do 12. 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, down. 1, 2, 3. And notice how the sides of my thumbs are on the edge of the dumbbells. So I'm not going to gripping the dumbbells too hard. I'm only focused on activating my lower trap. And this is a lot harder than it looks. So don't be surprised if you're shaking. The last thing you're going to do is called a dumbbell pullover. So we are not going to do this on a cable. We're not doing lat pull downs. All the people watching that cannot feel their lats when they're doing lat pull downs need to do all of these, but especially this one. Now, you're going to take a bench and you're going to put your shoulder blades against the bench. You're going to get an upside down triangle with your hands on the dumbbell. And you want to ensure that your tummy is flat and everything is nice and straight. With a slight bend in your elbows, resting your neck on the bench, you're going to pull over all the way down as hard as you can, picking up with your lats and something called your psoas anterior, a muscle under your armpits. So you're going to do 12 of these as well. 1, 2, 3, pull and pull. 1, 2, 3, pull and pull. All my clients love this move because it works the whole days. It stretches you out and it gets the job done. These 5 moves are going to be the bulk of your workouts. Don't rush into the compounds if you haven't done these first and actually felt the muscles that you need to feel. Now we're going to get into correcting your lower quad. There were 3 things that I mentioned in the very beginning. One of them was the hip shift. So if you were one of those who were squatting and found that you naturally tend to lean towards one side, I go into tons of detail in my 30-day Glute challenge as far as how exactly to correct this. But for the majority of the viewers viewing this video, it's more than likely that one of your muscles on one side is doing more work than on the other. So for this, you need a lot of unilateral work. This is non-negotiable. So not only in your compound lifts should you add, a reverse lunge, a step up, a split squat, but even in your warm-up, this is where you do those with body weight, ensuring that you're starting with the weakest side. Now going into knee valgus, if your knees came in, a clear indication that your glutes are turned off, and then going into that forward lean, which is a great indication that your hips are weak and tight. This sequence that I'm about to do is going to cover all of that. So if you have any of the 3, you should be doing this activation. And mind you, this is the backbone of my 30-day Glute challenge. The first thing we're going to do is something called a 90-90. You're going to sit down, feet in front of you and your hands behind you, supporting you. You're going to let your legs fall to the side and flex your feet, making sure that there's a little space between both legs. That way we go off the heel and land on the other side. This is helping your hip internal rotation, and you should feel it on the ins and outside of your heels. So you're going to do this for about 10 on each side. So 1 and 1 is 1 rep. Next is a clamshell. And we're going to do these in 3 different ways. First things first, you're going to lay on your side and you get on your forearm. This first one is going to be with no bands, but you will need a mini band. And put your hand on your hip. Feet are going to be together in front of you. So simultaneously, you're going to lift up your hip and bring your top knee out like so. Ready? Up and out. And you're going to hold for 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. In and down. Ready? 3, 2, 1. You are going to do 12 of these. The second variation to this is you're going to do the exact same thing, but wearing a mini band. This is going to add more tension. So again, doing the exact same thing. Elbow down, hand on the hip. Feet are out in front of you. You're going to lift up and out. Hold for 3, 2, 1. This bottom glute is going to be on fire. And if your glutes are actually turned off, you will be shaking. If you find that you just can't get up or whatever the case is, you can always just stay right here with the mini band on and lift the top leg without lifting your hip. And so you'll feel that on the top glutes. So you're gonna do that like so. Hold for 3 and release. Hold for 3 and release. Hold for 3 and release. For the last set of clamshells, we're going to do it a little bit differently. So you want to remove the bands. You're going to get on your side yet again. This time, instead of doing a clamshell, your top leg is going to go straight. You're going to come up just like the clamshell. Hold for 3. You're going to hinge down. 1, 2, 3. Like so. Up. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to do 12 of these. Whether you are beginner or advanced, if you have not taken the time to fire up these little muscles before you go into heavy hip thrusts, you will be dying, you will be shaking, and you're going to be super sore. The very, very last thing you're going to do in this sequence are very simple yet very challenging. You're going to wear the mini band above your knees. You're going to simply perform a squat, but you're going to go very, very slow. So feet hip width apart, pelvis is tucked, hands are going to be right in front of your face. Deep breath in through the nose. And you're going to come down for 5 seconds. Don't rush this. If you rush this, you need to start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to come up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now keep in mind, you want to be pushing your knees out against the band the entire time. And you should feel all the pressure in your glutes. This will be the bulk of your lower body routine. After this kind of setup, you could do your basic dumbbell glute bridges, dumbbell squats, but don't go into the heavy barbells until you know your glutes are fired up. This will take probably a month, but you will get there, and it's the best investment you will ever make for your training. If you found yourself today in any of these positions, save this video and perform these over and over on your upper and lower body days. Take your time with it. This will be the best investment you can possibly make. If you want more detail on lower body specifically, join my 30-day glute challenge. The link is in the description below. You will get a series of emails for an entire month walking you through the exact sequence I use with every single person, and it's only $37. If you like this video, it would be great if you can like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. Which corrections did you find that you needed? And what do you want to see next? And I can't wait to see you in the next one.